It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go, here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Running to your friends, come on.
Come on, come
So
on.
it's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is tight. Sinclair is on the mic.
Once again, it's on. You're still troubled in your home. Got your tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your wealth. Keep it moving, spirit flowing because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday, 8 and 9, and it's on. Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show when people at night. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show coming to you live and direct. And man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. It's been a hot minute since I heard from you, but that's okay. We're going to be talking about some real things happening in the real world. Let me see if I can get a little additional wattage up in this camp. There we go. A little something soft on my eyes. There you go. But listen here, people. Tonight we're going to talk about a lot of things. As y'all saw in the headlines, we're going to be talking about the state of America. Because, yeah, since the last time that I participated with a little activities with you all, a lot done gone on. And we're going to have some real conversation tonight. All right? So first, I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions, comments, statements, thoughts, whatever it is to sinclairtalk@outlook.com. We're going to continue to address those things each night. I'm on the air to reach you, the valued listener. And what does it mean that you are a valued listener? That means without you, there would be no reason for me to be here. I could be asleep somewhere if it wasn't for how much I value you. Because we've been in this game almost 8 years now, doing it big. And y'all that be rocking with me on all these shows, whether you on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, X, whatever they call it, whether not you out here on the East Coast, West Coast, to all of my people that are in our other countries. That's right, people. Y'all would be surprised at the number of people outside the United States that be watching the show. And so I just want to thank everybody because you all could be someplace else. Some of y'all be switching time zones. Some of y'all be, it's just y'all show a brother love. And I'm just appreciative of that love. All right, because truth be told, everybody don't get no love. So I just want to let y'all know that. Who I see out here in the real world tonight? There it is, Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard. She down there in Huntsville, Alabama. Better believe it. James, keep what's going on. Matter of fact, let me tell y'all something. Tell y'all something about old Huntsville, Alabama. I had somebody hit me up the other day and told me they down in Texas, but they said they about to move to Alabama. I said, I know somebody from Alabama, somebody down there, Lady Elegance Pritchard. And I just couldn't for the life of me. Lady Elegance, it ain't no, I ain't throwing no shade at you or nothing, but I just don't know no reason for nobody to want to be going to Huntsville other than you. You seem like you good people. But I just was like, man, somebody else going down to Alabama? How we get there? April G. Brown, what's going on? Man, who let her back in the house? Man, you know what? Some people want a spot come up from time to time. I guess they must have saw the headlines and figured it was a good topic. But some people, they be out there a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and figure this thing out. Let me see who else we got in here tonight. Pamela German, what's going on? Always glad to see you. And so we're going to start off by saying this. Matter of fact, let me tell y'all two things. Real funny things. All right, so first and foremost, man, did any of y'all see that game last night with the Warriors and Dallas Mavericks? Old Clay went home or whatever. Let me tell y'all something. It was a good game. Clay showed up, but it wasn't enough. For y'all that didn't watch the basketball NBA game, let me tell you something. They had Golden State down by, I think, like 8 points, 4 minutes left. And my homie, Curry, hadn't really showed up in like the fourth quarter. I think he didn't have no points at that time. How about he dropped 12 straight on him? 12 by himself. and then gave him the nighty night symbol. Some of y'all better watch that. But anyway, let me tell y'all a true story. True story. Just happened to me. So I be traveling throughout the state sometime, in the country other time, and literally just got back, right? Let me see who popped up here. Zero Kitten 00. Ty, you done got you an alias? Look here, people. Y'all gotta watch folks that got these aliases. But Ty Matthews, we glad you done popped up, even if your new name is Kitten 00. You ain't even got no cat. You got a dog. Why is your name Kitten? And what kind of stage name you out here with? Anyway, let's keep it moving, people. But so, all right. So I literally, like, within the last hour and a half, 2 hours, hit back down into my neck of the woods because I was out of town on business, right? Had a little leadership conference. I ain't gonna tell y'all what it was because y'all be in my business anyway. Too much, mind your own. But so I get to my hotel. This was yesterday. So I get to the hotel and I'm already, and I'm not even gonna put this on. I got an executive admin, and she do an excellent job, right? And I don't even think this might have been on me. Because most of the time I let her do all my stuff. And I think this time I was looking for a hotel that was in walking distance of the leadership conference that I had to go to. And and so I found one. Reputable name. I'm just gonna go and tell you it was the Holiday Inn, right? It was one of them big ones though, So I booked it. Everything seemed like it was everything. She took care of all the paperwork for me. I get down there. All right. It's downtown, so everything is everything. And then I get in the little breezeway where you go in, and I'm just looking around. And I'm like, this looks nostalgic, if you will. That was the word that came to my mind. That was nostalgic. So I was like, this a little different, but I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe how sometimes when you downtown, you got these eclectic type environments. So I just thought that's what it was, and I wasn't gonna cause no ruckus about it. And so then what I wound up doing, I asked the lady, had excellent service. Let me be the first to say, this particular Holiday Inn, even though I'm not going to tell y'all where it is, because I might want to go back and stay at some point. Not. But so I get down there. They got a lady at the front desk with excelente service, meaning that the service was so good that it made me want to just say I felt good about it. So I went in and took my bags up. Got the little cart, gonna take my bags up, right? And let me tell y'all the first thing I noticed. And I got pictures. I took pictures because ain't nobody gonna believe my story if I don't have optics to back up the foolery that I experienced. I get to the elevator in this, I think it was like 16, maybe 18 floors in this hotel, right? I get to the elevator. It's two sets of elevators. There's one right here, side by side. And remember, the phrase that I used was nostalgic looking scenery on the inside. But when I get to the elevator, one of them, matter of fact, let me see. I might even got it on my phone. Let me see if I can pull up this picture. And I don't even normally do this because y'all my people. So I think I'm willing to prove that I ain't, I've been having to prove myself all day. I'm gonna stop doing that too, because y'all gonna stop treating me like I be on some some foolery. But here go the elevator. Let me see if y'all can see it. Y'all see that? I hope it don't be too close because I don't even want y'all to know the name of it. But anyway, on one of the elevators, it got a paper sign, an 8.5 by 11 regular piece of paper, like off your printer or mine, that said elevator not working. So in the back of my mind, you know, I'm a very comprehensive type of brother. So I begin to think to myself, this isn't a good sign. I'm in this nostalgic looking hotel. And while there is excellent customer service, I ain't really too sure about this when you got and at that time, to be honest with you, I knew the hotel was tall, but I didn't know it was like 16, 18 floors, however many it was. I know it was more than it was at least 16. But I said, you know what I'm gonna do? They had me on the 7th floor. So I just want y'all to process this. So I'm on the 7th floor. I get on the elevator door. I get to the elevator where not the one that's got the not operational sign on it, the one next to it. And I hit the number 7. And it takes it a long time to get down, but the door is closed. So I'm feeling a little funny. Got a little queasiness on the inside because I'm like, I hope I ain't done got down here and I got to have a time being trapped up in the elevator, to which I didn't. So finally it gets down there after about 2 minutes of me being trapped in there, and it takes me to the 7th floor. And when I get out on the 7th floor, the hotel was like a circular hotel. It wasn't like it wasn't an octagon shape when it was a circular one, like like you was in one of them Hustle and Flow out in California with the radio station that was in the circular building. It was something like that. And they had me in room 701. So I get to the door and I take out my little card. I still got the card in there in the room. Take out my little card. And then when I get to the door, first of all, I could see through the door. You know, like back at the motels where the doors ain't too good. I could see through the door a little bit. I'm like, this don't look too secure. So I push on it. The door doesn't come open. But I put my little key in there. Beep. Light turns green. I go on up in there. Now, I must say that the hotel was clean. So 2 good points about it. Customer service, A level. Cleanliness, A level. Security-wise, they working on a D at best. But I don't say nothing. So I get in there, put my stuff down, and first thing I do is check the deadbolt because I want to make sure the deadbolt good, whatever. All right, cool. So I go in there, I'm chilling because all I really want to do is get me a hot shower. I don't even want nothing to eat. I just want something wanted me some apple juice, and I just wanted to be able to relax. And so I do, and I'm chilling, and everything is looking like it's everything. And I remember, I said, man, you know what? I need to go get me some ice because you know what? You ain't gonna do nothing else. You want to get your ice early. So when you get ready to shut it down, your little drink, you can have ice for your little apple juice. Throw on my little some Crocs. And I go out the door and I got my key with me. And so I go down around the corner because remember, it's a circular like hotel. Go around the corner. It says, big sign that says ice machine and vending right here. I go in there, ain't no vending. Fortunately for me, I wasn't looking for no vending. Go to the ice machine, press on the ice machine, ain't no ice. Another bad sign. Security bad, no ice in the ice machine. Then I see another little paper sign. Another straight off the printer sign that says, for ice, go to the 6th floor. So this is becoming an adventure just to get ice. So what do? Rather than get back on the rinky-dink elevator, I go ahead and I go out into the they got a door that goes into the elevator. I mean, not the elevator, but like into the stairwell. I look to the right, the stairwell looks like it drops down to the pits of hell. It's a screen right here and some concrete walls that ain't got no paint on them. And it looks like in them scary movies, like if you threw a rock down there, it'll travel for like 60 seconds before it hit the ground, right? So I'm like, one might hope that you don't fall out there, but it had the fence. So I go down and I go into the thing where the to the 6th floor. Now I get off on the 6th floor and it's looking as rinky-dink as all outdoors, but I go get ice, fill my little thing up with ice, and I go back upstairs. So when I get to the door, my door, 701, I said, you know what? I wonder if anybody ever complained about this room before. And I go and the way they have it in the circular area, you got 701 and 702 right here. Now that should have told me something, because I ain't never been in no hotel where you had odd and even numbers side by side. Normally you got the odd numbers on one side of the hall and the even on the other, but that's neither here nor there. Or maybe it is here and there, but who cares? So I go back in my room, I'm chilling, prepping up for my training today. And because, you don't never want to be the only vice president in the room looking stupid, because it'd be a bunch of smart, intelligent, super high aptitude people in there. And I ain't want to be the one get caught sleeping. So I'm prepping, So watch a little TV. At a certain point, turn the light out. It's time to go nighty-night. Everything all good. I done had a shower. I done had me some apple juice. I'm chilling. About 1 something in the morning, what I did was I forgot to turn the deadbolt. About 1 something in the morning, some dude and some chick come barging in my room. And I'm thinking, well, how did they get in there? So because I immediately get in my defensive posture, but I quickly recognize they're just as drunk as tomorrow. So I'm like, hey, buddy, what you doing? So he was like, what you doing in my room? I was like, bruh, this is my room. He was like, this is 702. No, it's not. It's 701. But even greater, how did you get in here? He said, man, I thought something was wrong with my key. So I just took my key and put it in the side of the door like I do at home, and it just popped open. Really? So I'm in this unsecure room that people can pop open with an old credit card like some of y'all do when you at your house. And this dude and his old lady done popped in just in the middle of the night. All they needed was a card. And needless to say, I had to make a call to the front desk, and it was, oh, we're so sorry. No, you're not. The man came in my room. He was drunk. He could have been on some Diddy stuff, and I had to defend myself. But I'm saying this to tell y'all, that's the kind of night I had. So, I'm up on guard duty. Now, I could have let them change my room out for another one. But by this time, it's 1 something in the morning. My clothes and stuff is all out. I got everything laid out. I'm like, man, I just stay in here. But I was on guard duty all night, thinking that I might have to put pause on somebody, because I was in the world's most unsecure hotel room ever. And I just want y'all to know, but I'm still here today. I go through my training, have an excellent day of leadership training. And because of you all, because I knew that I needed to come back and we needed to have a conversation tonight, I came on back. And I am tired. But you all are the valued people. Because y'all valuable, that's why I'm here. So that's my story for today. Now we can start talking about some real stuff. Yeah, James said, man, yeah. And see, and I had my little shindig with me, so I could have dropped them. But see, that's why y'all know God be managing your emotions, because I ain't even tripped like that. Somebody else, a lesser person, might would have went on ahead and put a couple of them rounds down range on somebody, but I didn't. I was on some relaxed stuff. That's why you all have to understand, just because you can do something don't mean that you should. All right? So look here, people. Now let's talk about what I really came on the show to talk about tonight. Man, since the last time I saw all of you valued people, some of y'all, listen, Linda, listen. I'm just trying to understand. Some of y'all around here angry. First of all, how can I say this? I don't want to hear none of y'all out here being angry about Donald J. Trump being the next president of the United States. And I'm going to tell you why. There is a percentage of you all who did not vote, said you didn't like either one of the candidates, and I told you, not voting was the same as casting your vote, but you didn't believe me. Then there was James said he missed us. He been under the weather. Oh, you been under the weather. You ain't let nobody know you was under the weather. Well, glad that you back on top of your game now. Then there was a percentage of you all who said that no matter what was going on, that you could never see yourself voting for Kamala Harris. Now, let me be the first to tell you this. If that was your thoughts, and you say you didn't like Donald Trump, you essentially voted for Donald Trump because you chose not to vote for her. And I'm gonna begin the evening by saying this. I said to you all before, as an independent, I don't care who you vote for a person that has the same conscience as you. Vote for a person that has the same core values and belief system as yours, because the person that you vote for, that person should represent what you represent. And I told you, if you was a Kamala Harris supporter, vote for her. If she reminds you of you, I said if you was a Donald Trump supporter, and we broke down what that meant in both terms. But I am thoroughly disappointed in anybody who said, only reason why I did not vote for Kamala Harris is because she's a woman. What does that say about your mentality? Let's dissect that. You didn't want to vote for somebody who's a woman. That's ignorant. That is very ignorant. And I'm not buying into, she was the angry black woman. I never saw her being angry like that. I don't want to hear anybody say that I couldn't trust a woman's judgment to lead the country because she might do this or might do that. We know Donald Trump had generals the last time he was president, had generals that said that, look, man, to keep this dude from making an absolute fool of a situation, we chose not to give him certain information because we didn't know what he was doing with the information. So you already knew that high-ranking leaders under his leadership before had already said that. All right? No need to talk about it now. But if you said the only reason why you didn't vote for Kamala Harris is because you couldn't trust a woman to run the country, I want to know, why is it that many of you dudes have to trust women to manage the finances, to instill values in your kids, you'll trust them to come get you if you get drunk and arrested? You will trust a woman to do it. You'll trust them to have your back when you get out here and do the most foolish thing ever. You will trust them to take you back when you out here cheating on them. You will trust a woman for everything, but you talking about, I couldn't trust her to run the country. Really? Sad. Sad individuals. The other side of that is this. Some of you closet Democrats, and I'm calling you closet Democrats because of two things. One, see, I am a numbers guy. I love stats. Hold on, let me see what Ty out here talking about. America does not want a female president. Both times Trump won against a woman. Men don't like the idea of a female leadership, and sadly, neither do. I don't even know what you were spelling. Patriarchal adjacent women. I don't know what you was, whatever point you was making, Good job. But let me say this. And I don't know if I think some of them it's about women. I think some of them did not like Kamala Harris because of whatever the reason. If it was only because she was a woman, then whoever voted that way is a fool. But I also want to say this back to these closet Democrats. I live in the state of North Carolina. Wonderful, beautiful state. State that has every aspect of good, some things that are not so great, but overwhelmingly everything about North Carolina is exactly as it should be, good or bad. And there are good people on both sides of the aisle, Republican and Democrats. Now, I will say this, that it would be impossible for North Carolina to have a Democratic governor in this election. We ain't talking about previous ones. We got a Democratic governor, Congressman Don Brown. Is it Don Brown? Yeah, I think it's Don Brown. Let me make sure. No, Don Davis. Don Brown is the funeral home guy. My bad. Let me make sure I'm right on this one. Congressman, well, I know I'm going to catch it for that. Congressman Don Davis. Outstanding guy. Put in the work. I know him personally. Seen him out here on the trail. Seen him when he wasn't on the trail doing good things. He retained his position. And there are one or two other Democrats that retained their position. The only way that takes place, there is one of three scenarios that would allow that to take place in North Carolina. And Trump won North Carolina. So what that tells me is two things. One, for you to have a Democratic governor win, Congressman Don Davis retained his and a couple of other people retained theirs, and all the other positions Republicans won them, it tells me that either we have more people who are operating as independents and voting specifically based on what they think about the individuals, which I don't have a problem with that, or we have people who are claiming to be Democratic that are not voting Democratic on the ticket all the way down, which I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I've always said, vote your conscience. If somebody has your values, then rock with them. But it's impossible for those Democrats to get their positions unless there was some Democratic voters who, when they got to the top box that talked about who was to be the president, they started by circling for Trump and then systematically went to other positions, picked this person for who was Democrat, and then picked these people who were Republican. And I don't care if that's the case. That may very well be the system working at its best. But I say this to you. Don't be running around here talking about, oh, I didn't vote for Trump. Yes, you did. In order for Trump to have won and Democratic, if this was all about Republicans winning everything, then Trump would have won and everybody who is Republican would have won too. The numbers would have made it fall that way. That's simply what it is. It is no way humanly possible that Donald Trump became president in the absence of alleged Democratic or Democratic voters making a conscious decision, which was theirs to make, that they were going to support some Democratic candidates, but not for president and not in some of these others. That's just the way it is. And again, I do not want you all to believe that I am saying that it shouldn't happen like that. As a matter of fact, I am telling you that's the way that government should work. You should have to plead your case to the entire public. And it should be that whatever happens, people vote for the person who is most like them. Now, let me tell y'all what that means. It appears that based on the calculations that the Republicans have also won the House 218 to 208. Now, let me tell you what that means though. You have to have 218 to have a majority. All right. Let me see what James done said. James said, I think the world is not ready for a woman to lead the free world. It would cause a trend. You could be onto something. Yeah, so you have to have 218 in the House to have the majority. Republicans now have 218, Democrats have 208. Now, the hardship with that is it is very hard to keep all parties, all of the people in your group on the same page. So I just want y'all to process that. Let us sprinkle on your spirit, if you will. Now, why are we even having this conversation? We're having this conversation because there is some controversy brewing now. GOP done won full control of Congress. They got the House, they got the Senate, and they got the presidency. Now, Donald Trump has to pay back some debts. The debts that he owed are to the people who stood by him. So he is, according to some, he has announced that he is Representative Matt Gaetz for Attorney General and former Democrat Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. Now, I'm going to tell you something. How can Matt Gaetz be up for Attorney General? He facing criminal charges, some severe ones. That says that he has resigned from his House seat. But I just really want to get y'all to understand, when you are talking about criminals or alleged criminals being put in positions for which they can make their crimes vanish, that's crazy. I want you all to understand, when you are talking about who Donald Trump is going to put in some of these positions, stop crying about it. Every president, Democrat or Republican, has the right to select whomever they choose to be brought for confirmation. And generally, they will garner the support that is necessary. There is a problem with it, though. Those who find themselves up for these illustrious positions go through a vetting process. Sometimes it is semantics, it is a just whatever. But sometimes, and I believe it will happen in this case, that when bringing somebody up who is facing charges, some of those charges for Gaetz were allegations that he participated in unauthorized activities with a minor. A minor being a young woman under the age of 18. Now, I would dare to say we have to, in America, ask ourselves the real question. And the real question is this: how far down the rabbit hole have we fallen? And I say that because there has to be a mindset of America that and Republicans, let me say this to you. I want my Republican colleagues to understand this. There are a lot of good, solid American Republican people. You ought to not want to allow the foolishness of, you ought to want credibility. How do you get credibility? You walk into the room and you say, look, we've supported you, but we're not going to let you make a mockery of the system by putting somebody who is accused of having some type of inappropriate conduct with an underage girl. We're not going to let you put that person for attorney general. You can do something else with them, but it's not going to be that. To my Republican colleagues, you've got to, at some point, you've got to look in the mirror and say, what is our party going to represent if we are in support of somebody with it's bad enough that the person, and again, whether you like Donald Trump or not, Donald Trump was, to the best of my knowledge, he was voted by the overwhelming majority of America to be the next president. And I'm going to say the same thing to you all that I said when it was Barack Obama, the same thing that I said when Joe Biden won, the same thing I've said for years. Anson Shepard, what's going on? That's my armor bearer. So I said they picked Trump. They are more than willing to look the other way. It allows them to feel empowered to do the same. Maybe. But as I said, with every president who has been elected, whether they were Democrat or Republican, once the people have spoken, even if they made a mistake, you have to operate with a level of dignity. I don't care nothing about people being mad, talking about Trump out here gloating. He won. He's supposed to gloat. You ain't got to like it. Because I promise you, if Kamala had won, it would be Democrats out here with their chest poked out. So let's not be sore losers. But America, you need to think about how far you're willing to go. Trump, if he is still health-wise in doing, and that's questionable, but the office of the president is not about an individual. Don't forget that. Donald Trump ran for president, and many people, me included, believe part of that running process wasn't to lead the country, it was to keep from going to jail. That's what I believe. Let me tell you what else I know. Donald Trump, this is it. You can only be president 2 terms. Simple as that. So I believe the Republican Party got exactly what they needed out of Trump, which was enough votes to get them to retain the House and the Senate, and they have the presidency. But what that also does for Republicans, and I must say this, it means that you must be accountable now, because if something doesn't pass through legislation, if something, y'all out here talking about stupid stuff. Y'all got Trump out here talking about, I'm gonna take away the Department of Education. For what? Y'all out here talking about y'all gonna do all kind of foolish stuff. All this will do is ensure that you are tied up in some litigation for the next 3 years until we start the election cycle again. And in that case, Republicans, you're going to have to operate in the next 3 years based on, or 2 in some of you cases, because that's the beauty of the American system, that every 2 to 4 years, Congress or the senators or somebody is going to have to stand up for what they've done. Hey, Cassandra, glad to see you. So I want y'all to understand, This process is what it is. I don't want to hear nobody out here complaining about who the president is. Everybody had an option. People went out there. Some Democrats voted Democratic down in certain parts of the ticket and voted for Trump, and that was their right to do it. Even if you feel like it was the wrong thing, it doesn't matter. That man done won now. And unless we find out something through some undertone of America that somebody did something at the polling digitally, I even heard some myth about what's the guy that deals with Teslas and all that. Anyway, the bottom line is this: don't be a sore loser. But Republicans understand something. When you have control over the House, the Senate, and the presidency, you the ones on the clock. It can, Elon Musk, that's who it is. That's who it is. Great. Thank you all. Understand, you are on the clock. Republicans, you got the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and for all intents and purposes, you got a Supreme Court too. So whatever America looks like in the next 2 years, you're either going to sink or swim about it. Because the one thing good about America is petty. We are petty as ever. And every 2 years, we get an opportunity to set the wheel right. So if there is something that you want to do that is significant, that will change the course of America for the good, you don't have any excuse for not doing it. And if you don't, America is going to hold you directly responsible. Because they can. That's why I'm not concerned. People around here, everybody in an uproar. Listen, it ain't really that big a deal. Do your job. Let me tell you what took place. They did their job. Their job was to try to get elected. It don't matter what you believed, something that they said. That was their job. Whatever the outcome was, some of you, a lot of you, voted for Donald Trump. Stop blaming it on Republicans. There are not enough Republicans that could have gotten Donald Trump the White House. You all did. And it's okay. Just own what you did. Because you don't want nobody to say nothing negative to you. I wouldn't care. If I had voted for Donald Trump, I wouldn't care what nobody think. I'd be like, hey, that's my dude. Simple as that. Own what you own. Inspect what you expect. Don't be around here now, sitting around here talking about, I don't know what's going to happen now. You know what's going to happen because he told you what was going to happen. I can't believe he got in there. How come you can't? There's some people sitting around your dinner table. If it's 4 people at your dinner table, one of y'all voted for Trump. Again, if you look at any place where you have Republicans and Democrats, and you got some Democrats won and some Republicans, let's be fair. Most of the time, Republicans is going to go all the way down the ballot and vote for their people. Democrats clearly voted for candidates like Don Davis and some of the other ones, but there were positions that they voted for Republicans, and it's okay. But you don't get to complain. And you don't get to ride around like, I don't know how it happened. How could this have possibly happened? It happened because y'all be out here on that foolishness and lying. Matter of fact, I really wish that America had a system where it allowed everybody to see who voted for who. That's what I really wish we could go to. Pull the veil back. Let everybody know. Sinclair, you voted for these people. So? Look at Ty talking about she complaining. Ty, what are you complaining for? Stop complaining. Don't be no sore loser. Y'all said Not all y'all, but some of y'all said you was going to vote for Donald Trump and not Kamala Harris because you believe he was going to make your economy stronger. We about to see. Sorry, said, oh, you can see who voted for who. How can you see that? Cassandra, tell me how can you see who somebody voted for? You can see if they voted, but I don't know where you could go and see whom they voted for. Sorry, talking about not me, my voice didn't matter. Your voice mattered. Your voice had to have mattered. It just didn't win. Robin Williams, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you. And for those of you who voted and your candidate did not win, I don't want you to be discouraged. The system worked. I don't care what nobody says. The system is not broke. Folks be lying, and that's why you feel like the system is broke, but the system is not broke. There are Democrats who voted for Donald Trump. There are some Republicans who voted for Kamala Harris. Donald Trump simply got more votes than Kamala Harris. The system is not broken. The system wasn't designed to be fair from the perspective of you get what you want because it's what you want. It is a system that says when we count every vote, he or she who has the greatest amount of votes, they get the Electoral College. And that's just how the system works. And knowing this, let's not make the rest of the world believe that our system is so flawed. Because again, unless we find out that someone did find some magical way, and I've even heard, and I am a conspiracy theorist, I must say, but I found it suspicious that the way that the ballots were set up this year, Yvonne Rouse, what's going on? Glad to see ya. I found that the way that the ballots were set up this year could have, especially in some of our senior people, it could have been a little setup for them because I don't know why we just didn't have, if you have Republican in the top slot, let them be in the top slot in every box. Let the Democrats be in the bottom box in every slot. I found when I went to vote that in the top box, it might have had the Democrat first. In the second box, it had the Republicans. So if you were somebody who didn't know everybody because you had not invested time, I could clearly see how, depending on who you vote for, if I saw Donald Trump's name in the last block, I could see me going all the way down. Matter of fact, I wonder, can I pull that up so I could give y'all a little eye test, if you will. Let me see if I can look this up. I'm gonna look up the 2024 election. What do they call that? Hey, somebody remind me, what do they call it? Y'all see how my mind be slipping? The sheet. What's the sheet called that it had all the names on them and all that? Voting sheet, North Carolina. Let me see. Look at that. Y'all so smart. All right, North Carolina sample ballot. Let me see if it pulls up. I bet y'all say this dude talking about he vice president or something. He can't remember nothing. Thank you, Chris. Man, look at all y'all out there letting me know. All right, so North Carolina 2024 ballot. Let me see if it pulls up. North Carolina. All right, I think here it is right here. Let me see if this is the way mine looked. All right. So this is what I was talking about. So I pulled it up on my phone, right? Now I'm going to tell y'all how it appeared in North Carolina. I don't know if it appeared like that in every other state. So it had partisan election. The first thing it had up there was president and vice president of the United States. The first person in the first box, which is this box, that box right there, it had Kamala D. Harris and Tim Walz. The next one, it had Chase Oliver for Libertarian, Jill Stein and Rudolph Ware. Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance was the second one from the bottom, right? Cool. So if you were a Democrat, you said, why did y'all vote for a Democratic governor and not a Democratic president? Exactly, Chris. That's what I was just telling them. So now let me show y'all. The next one was for U.S. House of Representatives District 11. You had Chuck Edwards. It's this one right here. The first one, you have the Democrats in the first box. The second one, you have the Republicans in the first box. The third one for governor, you had Republicans in the top box. The fourth one, you had for lieutenant governor, you had the Democrat in the first box. So as you start going down this line and you start seeing these different ones, right? The thing becomes clear. If you were a person and somebody said, okay, well, Kamala's in the first box, do they not have a straight Democrat option? Chris, to be honest with you, I do not see that as an option on the way that this is listed. And the way ours are, you have to actually circle in each section. So because they were not aligned, all Democrats the first one in each block, or all Republicans the first one in each block, you could have, in theory, you could have said, oh, I saw Kamala in the first block, and if I didn't know who the other candidates was, I could have went down and marked the first person in each box, and that would have been one of the reasons why I may have found that the voting parts of this were a little skewed. Now, it ain't nobody's fault if you didn't read it, but I'm just saying from a practical perspective, certainly, and I do believe this. Let me say this as a matter of principle. Whether it was done intentionally or there was some methodology behind it or whatever. Let me see what Jay Dizzle said. Jay Dizzle said, no, it seemed the way it was set up this year, they wanted you to actually read and identify who you wanted to vote for. Okay, I can rock with that. Chris said, don't they have two ballots, one for Democrat and one for Republicans? They should be set up differently. No, it ain't. I don't know that it's like that. I think everybody got the same ballot here, and on your ballot here, and you probably can't see it, but you can look it up on yours, on your computer, when it has the North Carolina lieutenant governor and all that, then everything is mixed up. Hold on, let me see what James said. They have a Democratic ballot. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never seen one like that, so I can't say that they don't. This ballot right here, now I see something on this other page that says Democratic primary sample ballot. And I'm looking at it so I can say, what do I see? What do I see? Now, and maybe they do, but my ballot, and y'all can let me know. For those of you who voted, Chris said they do in Texas. James said they have one. Yvonne said that's why you have to read. Hey, I agree with y'all. James said, I voted curbside and they brought me a Democratic ballot in North Carolina. Okay, listen, you learn something new every day. To be honest with you, I ain't know that. I went in and had to read mine, but I've always had to read mine. Every time I voted, I've got a ballot that had all of the candidates up there, just as I did this year. But I read every block too. That's how I noticed that there was a difference in the way it looks. Now I'm curious as to, just as we sit here and have this conversation, I'm curious as to why are there different types of ballots? Because now I'm just saying this again. I've told y'all I'm a conspiracy theorist. I believe that every ballot should look the same. Every ballot should have the same setup on it, with the exception of from state to state who the candidates in your state is. But because it, now what I do believe is possible, because the computer system reads data as it's marked out, it's not reading the names, it's reading where the location of the circle is. I can easily see how, if you went in there, and I'm just saying hypothetically, I have zero proof. I'm not even saying this happened, but I'm telling you, I can see how it will happen. I could see how a voting machine could be programmed, and if you see a box and it says this is a Democratic ticket, but in principle, the way the machine is set up, I can see where you can scan that machine in, it say Democratic stuff on the outside, but it read to the computer based on where the holes are. I can see it reading Republican. And again, I don't have any proof. I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying I think that's the danger when you have all these different nuances that's involved. Okay? Chris said they do try to confuse voters with ballots, especially when there are propositions on the ballot. Absolutely. 77% of you all, according to the surveys, voted in that block that said a person. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that. I'm about to have to get off this show from messing with y'all. There was, and this ballot right here actually wasn't the full real ballot, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because there was a thing on the ballot that talked about voting rights, and when it talked about the voting rights, it said, it had the specific language that said that you were voting to ensure that a person had to be 18 years and older, and something else. What many of you did not realize in that moment, that you were also voting to change the standards by which a person can vote. And I always say this, I'm torn between what must a person have to vote for, in terms of what types of ID or whatever. I think you ought to have an ID anyway. So I think the government should make an ID available for all its citizens. And my understanding is they do. But we'll go out and do every single thing else we want to do. So if you wait 4 years to get your ID and you don't have your ID, I think I can't have too much sympathy for you. Now, if you got some senior citizens who can't get around, I think you ought to take them to get their stuff. Y'all will take them if you wanted to spend their check. That's for another day. That's for another day. Look, people, I got to get up off this computer because I did my due diligence. Plus, y'all know I didn't sleep that well. Let me see. You can register for a specific party. Now, I'm an independent, so I don't know if that's why I get, but I didn't think that they just gave me no special kind of ballot. Cassandra said, depending on your state rules, you may only be allowed to vote for the political party you are registered with. This may apply when you vote in a presidential primary or caucus, congressional or local office primaries. All right. Johnny said, now here's a question. Why do IDs expire? That's a good question, Johnny. I want to know why they expire. Good question. Well, probably because some of y'all don't be looking the same no way. Some of y'all stuff should have been expired because I done seen some of y'all IDs and y'all look a little bit iffy. But look, people, I got to go because I got some things to do. But, oh, Chris said the reason why they expired because of that bread. Got to get them someplace. Look, that's the same thing. I could ask the same question that if you buy a house, why you got to keep paying taxes on it if it's your house? But that's a different story. Look, people, I got to go because I'm tired. We about to get up off here, but I'll holler at y'all.
It's about that time, baby.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.